we've now got implications from Pixar legend Andrew Stanton that there may be more movies after Toy Story 5. Which, in a world where people think there shouldn't have even been a fourth movie, I'm sure that'll go down well. I mean, going even further back, people even criticized them making a third movie back in the day. So we can't just trust people as a blanket statement, I guess. But so much as to say, the more movies they make, the more at risk the franchise is at losing its unique status as this golden, untouchable movie series. Unlike some other franchises of its stature, I can't really say there's currently a bad movie of the bunch. Sure, Toy Story 4 is probably the weakest, but I'm still a fan of that one personally. And don't even get me started on people trying to be edgy by saying the first one's not that good. I'm sure some people do genuinely feel that way, but don't act like you've broken out of the matrix of opinions looking over at sheep who like it. We actually just did a video about the original, so do check that out if you'd like to. But so much of that video was just gushing over the fact that they made such high quality stuff, let alone making stuff at all. I get that stuff like the groundbreaking toy soldier sequence is taken for granted now, and we all have our different rankings for these Toy Story movies, but no doubt, they are beloved and have had a pretty good run of it, to put it lightly. Nonetheless, I can also see the concern of them just doing more, and I'm actually quite skeptical about this fifth one. It's the first time a Toy Story project has really felt mandated by Disney as opposed to organically coming about. Which is why these premature comments of doing more are all the more concerning. So, what's actually been said? Well, it comes from Pixar legend and Toy Story 5 director Andrew Stanton. Mr. Finding Nemo and WALL-E himself, there's no doubt that the guy's one of the studio's GOATs. Yet despite being a core member of that original Toy Story production, even being the screenplay's credited co-writer, this is weirdly the first installment he's directed. It's one of the few things that at least gives me some hope for this one. Though I was also excited for Brad Bird returning for Incredibles 2, so, you know. But anyway, in the midst of Toy Story's 30th anniversary and momentum starting to build for this fifth movie, it was Stanton who hinted at this with, "We can't wait to keep these stories coming for you," suggesting that this fifth movie may well not be the last one. And on one front, it may at least be better for the fifth movie to at least have its marketing a bit more open-ended, but clearly, it feels like the third and fourth movies gave us two potential series endings. And that's good in the respect of always having that option to finish the series wherever you leave it. Even leaving it on the second one would have seemed fine. However, all the marketing gearing up the past couple to be this big, emotional, conclusive event when you're just gonna do more feels like wasted words in many ways. People feel fooled if every movie's subliminally marketed as the finale. And if this fifth one goes to that well again, you'll have over half the movies feeling like a pseudo-finale. Not workable, so I can see a gear change in suggesting that there could be more to benefit the pressure on this fifth one to deliver as a finale. Maybe? On the other hand, we do need to wrap this thing up at some point, right? If the movies do start to go bad, it's not hyperbole to say that it could damage the reputation of the overall series. Just yet another franchise where we go, well, the first one were good, but then all those sequels, you know? How many franchises have that reputation? Currently, Toy Story is the anomaly. Usually the third movie is where everything falls apart. Even Paddington couldn't stick the landing. Yet for Toy Story, they arguably made the best of the series. It holds this legendary status, yet each new installment just risks changing that. It risks The Simpsons effect. A classic from the 90s that should have bowed out years ago. Admittedly, it's a bit different as The Simpsons gets rolled out on a yearly basis with 22 episodes, which is part of the reason a lot of us dropped off of it. Like, not only was it just not as good, but you've made it feel inaccessible to keep up with there. For Toy Story, it's at least slightly different, not just because it's a movie franchise. Whilst you've had 4 years between the first couple, you then had 11 years between 2 and 3, 9 years between 3 and 4, and now 7 years between 4 and 5. It's like they're trying to sustain one Toy Story a decade or something. Though I guess the third technically skipped the noughties, coming out in 2010. Like most of the Pixar sequels, it's not like they're rushing them out like Marvel movies, but that does bring us to our other concern. Hey there, thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie news. Thank you. Because if that's the kind of spread out pace you're sticking to, a lot of that original cast aren't gonna be around forever. Sure, he handled the recasting of Slinky respectfully and then used some archive recordings of Don Rickles for Potato Head in the fourth one. However, I not only don't think you can replace the main two with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, we already know that you can't do that, since we have actually seen a failed attempt to do just that. Yes, it's time to bring up Lightyear again. So the movie's also not the best, and made the non-toy version of this iconic, colourful character go through his own desaturated interstellar storyline that also managed to rip off the worst Lego movie. Great. But I think what we can also agree on is that people didn't buy into this other Buzz Lightyear, and it may have felt more like the character if you had Tim Allen doing the voice. And whilst they should still be around for a while yet, they're not gonna be voicing these characters forever, and their age will one day resonate more in their voices too. Like, Marge is an extreme example because clearly that's a harder voice to sustain, but these days it sounds like the poor voice actor's throat's about to fire out a mouth. And in the world of Toy Story, they're canonically never changing. They don't age, you know? So they're getting older, they're irreplaceable, and for the love of God, please don't train an AI to take over. If anything, considering the fifth movie's technology replacing storyline, that'd be pretty ironic, you know? And there's currently no information I could find on Mr. Potato Head for the fifth movie, because whatever they do, I don't think you can go through yet another movie with archive recordings. For one, I think it actually impacted the fourth movie in how they had to reduce Potato Head's role. I mean, in general, the OG ensemble being sidelined with the broken down van subplot was something that frustrated a few people, but part of that was Potato Head being reduced to just a few lines. He is a cornerstone character, arguably an antagonist in the original, and then part of the main cast in 2 and 3. So reducing his role even further, or even phasing the Potato Heads out, would seem weird, to say the least. So I guess on that front, we'll see what they do there. Yet another red flag to the collection. But it's just a reminder of the trouble and obstacle they're already having with this original cast. Of course, another school of thought is something that's also come up with the Inside Out movies, and that is visiting a new cast of characters within the same universe and core premise. With both Toy Story and Inside Out, you can at least see why some people would float that idea around, in the sense that it feels like a limitless premise in which we've only seen one central group of characters. It's fun to think about, but would it actually work? I don't know if it would. A Disney Plus series or something, maybe. But for the main movie series, I don't think people would go for a Toy Story movie without the characters they associate with the name. Buzz and Woody are Toy Story. Their names may not be in the title, but that's just the word association we have going on here. It would be like calling something SpongeBob, but then going to a completely different set of characters in a different town within the SpongeBob universe. So no, I don't think that really works as a path for the series either, with the exception of introducing a different cast of toys that pops off. But on the whole, it feels like we've covered most issues a toy could have through the lens of these characters. So what's the point of doing the same issues with different ones? I think it's fair to say that I am less than whelmed at the prospect of more Toy Story movies, and hopefully this line of dialogue is a little bit of a false flag to help the marketing of 5. Otherwise, it just further aligns with reports that Pixar are looking to make sequels a premeditated routine in their release schedule. Of course, the only Pixar franchise until arguably Inside Out 2 to have successfully sustained its sequels. From a dollar-ride Mickey Mouse perspective, the past two being billion-dollar juggernauts. So even if Pixar doesn't really want to do them, Disney will probably find a way. However, the real kicker is that Pixar know that the pressure is on for this particular series. The excellence of the other installments brings expectation. And if they make a bad one, I think they start to lose the audience. Not to mention, if it turns out to not be very good, I think you could even see the original cast actively resisting to do any more. Though more so Tom Hanks. Tim Allen needs the money more. Either way, that's at least all we have to say on the prospect of a Toy Story 6 or a 7. For now though, I'd best end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Hopefully it's not true, but in this day and age, you can't trust anything, can you? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more, and I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!